Hey everyone, it's Dr. Glenn Vo. I am super excited to have a marketing specialist. I've been following her for many years on LinkedIn and on social media, and I've popped in on some of her talks. And I finally tracked her down using, twisting arms of mutual friends to get her on this podcast. Rita Zamora. Rita, welcome to the Nifty Thrifty Dentist podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invite.
Well, I am so excited to have you again. We talked about your just all the marketing advice you've been giving dental professionals over the years, and you got some exciting things that are coming up. But before we talk about those exciting things coming up, I want to ask you this question because, again, a lot of people know who you are, but some people in our audience might not know who you are, and they're just now getting introduced to you. I need to start with this first. Why did you decide to work with crazy people in dentistry? Because all the people in dentistry, we're a little crazy over here. What gave you the idea and the desire to work with us crazy dental professionals?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. People are like, why did you decide to target dentists? And I'm actually a dental person. I consider myself a dental person. I worked in a perio practice for about 15 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's where I got my start. We had about 3 team members when I started and one periodontist. It was here in Colorado. And over the course of 15 years, we grew that practice to over 25 team members, 5 periodontists, and it became the largest perio and implant practice in Colorado at the time with multiple locations. And so I got to learn a lot about the business of specialty dentistry, but also about the business of dentistry, working with referral providers. And I did work in case presentation for many years, talking to patients about big dental implant cases. We talked about sinus augmentation and multiple extractions and ridge augmentation and subepithelial connective tissue grafts. And it was very hard dentistry to sell, I would say, probably the hardest specialty. So you really have to work hard at growing those relationships and trust with patients. And that was my big takeaway.
Well, I love the fact that you led with that. And again, I knew you were in dentistry. I know you worked in dental practice. I did not know that you worked in perio office. So that's something I didn't know about. But again, that is so correct, right? Like, I mean, again, if you're, I'm not saying other specialties have it easier, but let's say people who are coming in, they're like, I want my teeth to be straight. Like that's something
Yeah.
that people want. That's like an appearance thing, as opposed to you need perio surgery. Like it's hard for people to get really excited about that, really hyped up about that. And the fact that you work in that special, that is, fairly difficult to present and to get case acceptance. I love that you're in the trenches there. Now, okay, so there's a big jump there, right? Number one, there's a big
Yes.
jump from okay, working in a perio practice and help them grow, right? Then jumping to speaking, all right,
Hmm.
that's a jump right there. And then an even bigger jump is also being the social media expert that you are. So share us like that story there, because did you just wake up one day and said, you know what, just went to your doctor, say, you know what, I'm working here for 15 years, and I'm gonna go speak now, and I'm gonna talk about marketing. So see you later. So talk about how you made that transition there.
Yeah, and I love that practice. It was the mentor and periodontist that started the practice, really supported me. I went back to school while I was working for full time in that practice. I got my bachelor's degree in business and marketing. I graduated with honors. He adjusted my schedule to be able to do that. So it speaks a lot to the leadership that we have in dentistry. And actually, several of the team members have ended up in high level positions in dentistry. So it was a great, sort of
What a cool
place,
legacy
launch
for that
pad.
practice owner. Like,
Yeah,
what
for
a cool
sure.
legacy now, before you kind of move forward, I have to ask, like, is the practice owner still practicing? Is the practice still there? Did he transition, or what's the
He
story
did
behind that?
sell the practice and he's since retired. Dr. Mark Reisner was his name
Okay.
here in Colorado. And the practice is still thriving. They have, I think, still 5 periodontists working there.
Wow.
So it's still doing great,
So now
but
he's just drinking pina coladas on the beach somewhere.
I hope so. Yeah. But I started really writing a blog about 12 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, about relationship marketing in dentistry and building trust with patients. And there weren't many bloggers at that time, but I love to write. And when social media came about, Facebook business pages were introduced, I started writing about social media, and that transitioned from relationship marketing in person to taking it online. And the local dental society here in Colorado picked up on that and said, could you come do a presentation? And I was like, sure. And so I jumped into that and started really writing more about social media because I was really interested in that as a relationship building tool. And so then I started working with general dentists in the area that were like, can you help us? And people would send me a fax, like, how do we log into Facebook, back in the day. So it just kind of grew from there. I got invited to speak at the local dental society, and then I got invited to the state meeting here, and then ADA scouted me, and it took off from there. So I never intended to be a speaker. It was just talking about something that I loved, and it really took off from there. And at one point, I was doing about 16 meetings a
Wow.
year. I got invited to the UK to speak, and that's been great. But what I really loved still to this day is working with dental teams and talking to them about how we can build trust with patients and what we can do to best represent the practice. And so that's really what my passion is today, that carried through from building trust in the office to how can we build trust with patients and really make the practice look as good as they can online
Well,
through social media.
well, I mean, I think that's such an amazing story, and I love a lot of times the best things that we kind of stumble into as entrepreneurs, as professionals, are things that we never really intended to go in that direction, but you see a need or you feel a need, and you definitely feel a need. Just listening to you speak, and I'm sure our listeners and viewers can agree. Like just listening, like wow, you have a very just natural delivery when it comes to just sharing your information there. And so, with that being said, you having just all this experience, not only speaking, but also consulting with practices, I like to talk about, things that people can do at the practice level. So, if someone is like, well, I want to get a little bit more involved in social media, I want to get my practice out there. What have been some of the things that you have shared, not only in your talks, but also people coming up to you and saying, Rita, like I want to kind of get more engaged on social media. What are some of the things that a practice owner and also their team can do to just kind of like get the ball rolling when it comes to getting more activity on social media?
Yeah, I think the most important thing, and for some reason a lot of teams are resistant, is to get a system in place. Especially with these today, team members are like, I'm just going to make a TikTok whenever I feel like it, or, just make a reel. And that's great. And it's fun to be spontaneous. But if you don't have a plan in place, there's no way to be strategic. And that's something that I've seen over the years. I mean, when Facebook business pages were first introduced, we were sort of using sticky notes to plan out our content. And as you probably know, with this amazing community that you've grown with Nifty Thrifty, we all are content marketers today. If you're a business owner, you're a content marketer, and there's no way for you to be successful without having a plan in place. And I would say probably about 30% of practices that I interview on a daily basis and talk to at large meetings when I have a big audience, I'll ask people how many are using a content calendar or a scheduling tool, and it's about 30% of practices.
Oh,
And that's the number one most important thing. If you want to be successful, you have to have some sort of a plan in place where you're thinking about what kind of content you want to put out there, because if you don't and you're spontaneous all the time, you're going to look back in a couple of years or many years or a year and say, what have I been posting about? Like, what am I being known for? And so that's the big question I always ask dentists is, what do you want to be known for? How do you want to be perceived? Because you have to think about that first. Otherwise, we're doing things spontaneously and it's great for authenticity. But if you're looking at building a business, it's a different story.
well, I think that is so important because as dental practice owners, we understand systems. I mean, we hear it all the
Yes.
time, whether we're working with consultants or we're going on social media and just ranting each other or whatnot. We're always talking about system. Like, what's your system to for presenting cases, right? What's your system when it comes to having reviews with your staff and whatnot? We understand that as dentists, right? But
Yes.
for some odd reason, when it comes to social media, we're like, let's just wing it. Let's just
Yeah.
wing it, guys. Like, hey, this week, let's just post some stuff. Hey, it's a holiday. Let's just wing it. And I love the fact that you brought up the fact that, look, you still got to have a system. I mean, I'm sure you have
Yeah.
a system. Most of us probably have a system when it comes to doing chores around the house, right? I mean, I have a system when it comes to like cooking and washing the dishes and whatnot. Like I literally have to have a system or else it doesn't get done. Now, speaking of system, I love the fact that we were just kind of like segue into you've heard this so many times. You heard so many dental professionals like, I need some help here, your own clients, people you talk to, and you came up with a solution. Just like how you kind of stumbled into doing marketing and being one of the top marketing experts in dentistry, right? You saw a need, you filled the need, you see the need here. So talk to us about this new platform that you created that's gonna help dentists like me to kind of actually have a real system instead of winging things.
Yeah, for sure. And I do want to start off by saying also that we have continued to evolve over the years. So initially we were really focused on training and we would train the team and get all, the processes in place and let them run with it. And then they would come back, a couple of years later and saying, we need help again. There's something new that came out, or they had turnover or whatever. And when about the time that COVID hit, we released this program because we were hearing from more and more team members that they wanted help consistently, but they also wanted to participate. And so that was where this new program was developed on, yeah, so.
So yeah, so again, the new platform you have is Connect90. Now,
Mhm.
explain to us again. We'll put the URL in the show notes. They're actually, if you're probably wondering, you're probably thinking already, like, is there a nifty deal? Yes, we got something. Don't worry, guys. Just listen to us. What the program's about. But again, talk about like this platform, how it's gonna help us just have a system, but also be consistent. I think like the biggest thing when we talk marketing, everyone understands that, right? You got to be consistent, right? You got if you have you have something branding, you got to brand everything consistently. And this is something
Yes.
that's going to allow you to be consistent when it comes to that content creation, but also delivery, right? You can create a bunch of content and I'll be great. Like you could say, hey, I got a bunch of videos. All right. Where are they? Like, I don't even know
Yeah.
where your videos are. You got all these cool videos and it's just sitting somewhere on a Google Drive. So talk about this platform, how it's going to help dental practice owners like me, not only create content, but also deliver it too.
Yeah. Well, do you want to see it?
I'd love to. I'd love to. So let's do that. Let's do that. I'm
Okay.
going to pull this up right here and give you the opportunity to share your screen here. And yes, I am excited to see this here. All right.
Okay.
You got the control of the meeting here.
Can you see my screen? You should see
Yes.
what looks like a calendar.
Yeah.
So this is sort of the heart and soul of the program, which is a content calendar that I always talk about and a scheduling tool. And this is an example of what we provide for our teams every month. We usually provide 2 content suggestions, curated content every week. And so by curated, I mean we're not providing 365 days of content because so many things don't apply, like it's National Hot Dog Day or wear your shorts to work day or whatever. So we do include those important dental days, like, shout outs to the team for Hygiene Appreciation Week. Or if it's, coming up, we have Admin Day, Admin Professionals Day. And something that I'm really passionate about is making sure that we're really giving good shout outs to our team, that we're recognizing our team members as well. So we're marketing our practice through content, but we're also giving a shout out to our team and really working with the community as well. So we include topics that are social and also practice building. And so an example would be, thanking patients for referrals. You're going to see here that we have prompts because 100% of the time we recommend that you use your own photos or videos. And that's what teams want, or that's what I should say, your patients want to see and what your team's going to be proud to share. But we know sometimes you're going to get in a pickle and you're not going to have a graphic. So we do, in some cases, provide a prepared graphic for you. But this is really the magic in our program, is that it makes it easy for you. Once you create content for your Facebook, for example, you can just make a copy of this for your Google business profile and
Wow.
also your Instagram. So you click a button, and most teams don't know you should be posting content to your Google business. It's called Google Business now, not Google My Business. But you should be posting content there. You have little calls to action, so you can have a learn more with your Google business or call now, and that will allow people to click to call from your Google business. With Instagram, there's all sorts of tidbits that'll save you time, like a hashtag library. You can geotag your content from right here in the platform. And then, of course, you personalize it for each, platform the way that you want it. But then once you click approve, your content is going to be published to these different platforms on the day and time that you choose. So ideally, you would have your team sit down and look at the month ahead and schedule all of their content. Now we're at the end of the month. Your future month should already look like this, with all of those important topics that you want to be known for. I'll
I
just stop so you can
absolutely
ask questions or
I
comments.
I absolutely love this because again, you have the schedule there, and at a minimum you're looking at that and you're getting content like every week. But what's so cool about this is that you just go to one place and you post it, and you literally can click all the boxes instead of logging into multiple like sites. It does it
Mm-hmm.
right there and sends it out. Now, my question to you is, obviously you already have like the templates, and I love the fact that you want it personalized. I think that's so important. No one wants to go to like a Facebook page and they just see like um like custom, like stock photos or whatnot. They want to see something custom. They want to see the people that take care of them. They want to learn more, right? Like they like us and they want to learn more. My question to you is, you already have this out here, but what if a team is like just really into it and they're like, well, I want to post something every day. I want to just slide in there and post something else. Does the platform allow them to do their own content that's not already set up by you and your team?
For sure. And I get nails on a chalkboard when I hear template, because that makes me crazy. I mean, what I describe our program as is a framework.
Yeah.
And so we're giving you the curated content suggestions based on what we know resonates with patients working in social media with teams across the country. We also have practices in Canada and Australia that we work with, so we know what resonates with patients. So we're giving you the ideas, but you can totally click into the platform and make it your own. You can change the text. We, of course, want you to use your own photos and images. So you're going to have your own thumbprint. So it's a framework that you're using and a system, but you personalize it. Personalization is everything. And so this is an example where if you have a team member that you wanted to give a shout out to that's been with you for 5 years, you can also use an AI captions option and choose the tone that you want, maybe
Nice.
excited. And so if you need to write something really quick for a birthday or a work anniversary or whatever it is, the platform will
Oh,
have
that is
suggestions,
so awesome.
and you can just go ahead and put that in there. And then we have like the emoji keyboard and of course like the hashtag library and all those good things. So it really has been a great tool for our business. I mean, I use this for my marketing. My team uses it for our programs as well. And the most important piece that I would say is that it's very user friendly. You can drag and drop things to different days. You should be hopefully putting all your team members' birthdays, work anniversaries, any events that you have coming on in the community. We're really big on getting involved with nonprofits and other organizations in the community. So we'll often include topics on that. And then, of course, we have support that we provide. So if you're getting started with Reels and you don't know how to do that, we help you out with that too.
I absolutely love this platform. It looks so easy to jump on there, and I guess my again, as someone who has a fairly big team, and I delegate to my team, I have an awesome team, and they all kind of want to jump in and help out. I love the fact that they can all come here and they can all help out. They don't have to say, "Hey, Dr. Bo, you send me the code to let me into the Facebook thing." Like you could just do it here. I guess my next question would be, as far as like just navigating the platform, right? Like there's so much technology out there, and a lot of times there's always a learning curve. Is there like tutorials? Like, so if someone to sign up for the platform, do you have tutorials? How's the onboarding process
Mhm.
work? As a practice owner, I'm already wondering, like, do I have to go in there and like learn everything and teach everybody? Like, is there like some resources so they can teach it themselves? What for those who have those concerns? What is your answer to that?
It's a very intuitive tool. So I would say if you know how to use an Apple product, you're going to just dive right in. We have an onboarding process down to a T. We have a video resource that we'll send you after that onboarding that's about 8 minutes long that shows you how all the bells and whistles work. So you can take advantage of that. Then you can, of course, schedule a Zoom with my team and I. We have support available through a private group or through email. You can reach out to us at any time. Our goal, the number one goal, is to save the team time and get them better results. And so I tell them, if you're looking at something for more than 5 minutes, like don't start Googling and whatever, just reach out to us and we'll help you right away.
I
So,
absolutely love that. That is so amazing. And again, we're definitely gonna talk about Nifty deal. We're saving that to the end because I want to switch gears here because this is my favorite part of the podcast is asking our guests some business tips or personal tips or productivity tips. So we're gonna
mm,
switch gears here, Rita, and
okay.
we're this segment is Rita's three best tips. Okay, so if you can share with us a productivity or entrepreneur tip, something that will help us level up, give us three tips that's helped you in your career, that could help us.
Mhm. I think the number one tip is to have a system in place and to be organized. And I have to be honest, I'm not the most organized, system-oriented person, but
Me
my
too.
husband, my husband of 20 years is a software architect, software engineer, and he is the most organized person on the planet. So when you're married to someone for 20, almost 25 years, actually, you really start to integrate some of their habits. And that's one of the best takeaways that I have. Many other things from marriage long term, but that's a big one is to have a system in place for sure.
I love that. Well, I have to ask you, and again, I know we turned it over to you to give us three tips, but I'm going to ask you personally, like the second tip. So you've been married for 25 years. It's been, it's easy for me because I got married right when I graduated dental school. So for as long as I've been practicing, as long as
Okay.
we've been married. So I've been practicing for 15 years. So we've been married for 15 years.
There you go.
Um,
You're like easy to
yeah,
remember.
easy. So that it's easy for me to always remember that. But again, for someone who's been married 25 years, share a tip there. Like what is kind of like the secret to stay married for that long? Because in this day and
Mm.
age, that is an accomplishment. That is an
Yeah.
accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you. I would say the biggest tip is, play together, stay together. So find hobbies that you enjoy together. And ours has always been hiking. That's a big one. We used to cycle a lot together and snowboard together when we first met, but now it's mostly hiking. And so that's our big passion. We live just outside of Boulder in Colorado, so we have access to all of that on a regular basis.
You
So
have the amazing backdrop for hiking, right? And
yeah.
again, I love that. For my wife and I, we like to take walks. And actually, our kids are a little younger, but we've already planned it out. We're like, okay, when they go to college, we're moving to the beach, so we can have beach walk. Well, what we love about
Good.
walking is it gives us an opportunity just to talk, right? And a lot of
Yes,
times when you're
so good.
running around, you're just doing stuff with your business, you're running errands, or you're cooking, or you're cleaning, or you're doing something. You don't really have that time to talk. But I love that tip there. Now, again, for those who are listening and watching right now, and they are looking at the career that you kind of created for yourself, and
Mm.
I'd like to say it's like almost like an accidental career because I don't think you ever intended to do this, but now you're
Yeah.
speaking, you create this platform, all those. For those who are working in the practice right now, and they're they listen to your story. They're like, man, Rita really, she really inspired me. I want to kind of take the same path as her. For those who are having that thought, and
Mhm.
what is the advice you have for them when they want to kind of like transition from a practice and maybe into more speaking and consulting? What's your advice to them?
Mhm. I think always be learning. And,
Mhm.
this career didn't exist when I started in dentistry. I mean, I started as a file clerk, which that position doesn't exist anymore, just sort of organizing charts and like
Yeah.
pulling charts for follow up and things like that. And then worked on the admin team. I was the receptionist, for a while in that practice. And then I moved into doing case presentation and then doing the marketing for the practice. And so, if you are always learning and growing and you have a passion for that, I mean, I have a big passion for that personally as well, that's going to carry you to places that you may not have dreamt. And with AI and the birth of all these new technologies and opportunities, you're going to land in an amazing place. But you have to take that initiative. And I was intrinsically motivated to keep learning. It's just kind of a part of the fabric of who I am. But if you're wanting to get somewhere, different than when you are where you are today, start investing in your personal and professional growth, and surround yourself by good people. There's so many amazing people. I love this profession. I say I'm gonna have like one foot in the grave and one foot like in dentistry with my people, because this is such a great career to have. It's such a great network. As you know, we meet so many amazing people around the world and have this awesome career in common.
I love that. And just to let everyone know, I've known of Rita for quite some time, been following her and whatnot, but we finally got introduced to each other by a mutual friend. And such a cool thing about dentistry is, right. We run into different people and we meet different people. And again, for those who want that go on that same journey that Rita is on, it's gonna be an amazing ride. But I have to point out one thing. It's one thing to have like a dream, right? And Rita had just already alluded to this. It's one thing to have a dream, but you got to put the work in. And
Yeah.
a lot of you may see her speaking all that, and you probably
Mhm.
thought like, hey, she just decided to do it, and voila, here she is. I will tell you that she's put in a lot of work. And again, if that's something you guys want to do, you can have the dream. It starts with the dream. You got to put the work in. So, Rita, I think you and I can both agree,
Thank
right? You got to
you.
put a lot of work in there, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so before we wrap up, man, I can't believe this. A good podcast is when you start and you look and you're like, oh my gosh, we already went through this whole session, and I feel like I want to have more. So, Rita, before we talk about ways to connect with you, you have to. I'm going to ask you right now. We have to get you back. We have to get you back in the future.
I
Can
would
you
love
can
that.
can you make some time for us there? Because again, like I can't believe we just flew by, and there's so many things we want to talk about. But with that being said, we'll talk about a Nifty deal, right? Like again, if
Yes.
you want to grow your business through social media, you want to be consistent, right? You want to be consistent. You want to make it easy for you and your team, because things actually get implemented if they're easy to implement, right? If you want to get the Nifty deal with the Connect Net, Rita, what can you do for us? As far as all our members wanting to dive in and use your platform.
Mhm. Well, we offer, for any dentist that's interested, we do offer a 30-day complimentary trial. We don't
Love it.
take a credit card or anything like that. There's no obligation. So we'll let you use the platform for 30 days on all aspects of our program, all the benefits for 30 days.
Awesome.
And yeah, if you love it after that, we'd love to welcome you. We'll have some Nifty Thrifty special deal for you, of course.
Love it.
And it's month to month thereafter. So, as I said, I'll be in dentistry forever. So having high integrity and wanting to make sure people are always happy, whatever's the best interest of their practice is what I want. So everything's month to month, no long-term contracts, there's no setup fees. And yeah, so I'd love it if you would come be a guest of our trial if you think it's going to be a good fit. And we love working with friendly people. And so, yeah.
Well, we have a lot of them in our community, and I will say this: I mean, you is music to our ears when you talk about your Nifty deal, because you said the free trial, which we love, right? We can
Mhm.
try it out. We can try it out, and then when
Yep.
we say how awesome it is, you're not going to hold this into a contract, which we love as well. So, guys, that should tell you something about Rita here, right? She's like, I want you to be 100% happy, right? I mean, that should tell you something about her. But another thing is that we want to earn your business like every month. Like, we're not going
Yeah.
to lock you in and put you through like buyer's remorse or anything. So that should tell you a little bit how she runs her business. And I absolutely love that. Rita, thank you so much for that deal. We will put all that information there. But before we log off here, Rita, I know you're cutting back on the speaking because the different phase of your life here. You're still speaking. Can you let us know where you're going to be speaking next? Do you know where you're going to be at next?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say I'm just being very selective about where I
Yeah.
speak as well, because times are tough with different meetings, and honorariums are not what they used to be, and so I consider that donating my time sometimes to be at these different meetings. So, the next big meeting that I'm going to be at is my favorite that I spoke at numerous times before is going to be Chicago Midwinter
Oh,
2025, and so that's the big one on my calendar every
and
year.
I agree with you. I love that meeting too, and I especially love the food in that town. So, guys, I mean, I'm gonna be there. I can already tell you that I'm gonna be there. And so, again, once I get wind of like what particular day that she's speaking, we'll make sure you guys know. But here's the cool thing: once you sign up for the platform, you'll be connected with Rita in some form of fashion, right? So you can find out as well. But Rita, thank you so much. This has been a long time coming. I'm so happy to finally get you on. And you already said yes, guys. You already saw that. She said she will come back. So we can't wait to bring you back. But Rita, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you. It was great to have a chance to catch up and to talk, and I appreciate you.
All right, guys. We'll have all the information as far as Rita's platform, but also where she's speaking next in the show notes. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.